Welcome to Bookin' It. Today's episode will be The Iliad of Homer, Part 3, Books 5 through 8. Hey everyone, welcome back to Bookin' It. I'm, of course, your eloquent host, Cooper Cobbs. And joining me today, I have some fine fellows right here. Oh boy, do I. Over there on the left, Mr. Isaiah Rayetsky.
Yo,
How you
what's
doing,
up?
sir? And across from me, owner of the mighty jelly bean jar, Tanner Lewis.
Howdy, folks.
And right next to me, I have... Oh.
He's gone. He's already gone.
Bryson, only after like 5 weeks, Bryson's left us.
What?
It got too expensive to fly him in from Paris. No, that's a joke. Bryson is currently out this week. He is attending a conference, the G3 conference, in case anybody was wondering, in Atlanta. Might be too late to try to find him there because he'll be back by when this comes out. But yeah, anyway, if you're there, say hi. If in the past, it works. Okay.
A week and something ago from
exactly,
now.
Exactly. Well, we are here in our top secret studio, in some classroom of an obscure church somewhere, and under an overcast sky because it's been overcast for the past 3 weeks.
It's been glorious, except it's no longer glorious.
Yeah.
Apple Watch says that it is currently 92 degrees
There
outside.
Well, it's been overcast for the past few weeks, and it hasn't rained a ton. It's just been overcast, and it rains in spurts.
Southlander.
Southlander. that place from Rings of Power. Is that what you're talking about, Tanner? The Southlands? Hey, Halbrand is my king. Okay. We're talking about the Iliad. Isaiah is our guest host because he was designated to lead in class. So, Isaiah, take it away.
All right.
Books 5 through 8.
Yes. So I guess the first question is, what happened in books 5 through 8? Anyone want to summarize?
I really wish we were filming ourselves during the physics experiment because we had some funny things
That
to
is
say
true.
during
We
that.
should have.
We should have done that. Anyway.
I remember most of them if you want them again.
Okay, please, Tanner, just do it.
Okay. What happened in this 3-book... Wait.
3,
books,
4.
4. That's right.
5, 6, 7, and 8.
I don't know. 5 through 8 just has a connotation of 3, but maybe that's just me. But through these 4 books that we read this week, the most interesting portions were the ones that were the stupidest. I don't know. This was the most unentertaining portion of the book unless you were reading it for laughs.
There's some pretty entertaining stuff.
Well, yes, but for the laughs. It's not like, oh my gosh, this has so much value of discussion.
I think there's a couple of good scenes.
Yes, but what happened?
Oh, what happened?
Okay, not just your thoughts on it. What happened?
Book 5 is basically Athena gives Diomedes just some some rage, some power. Some of the star power from Mario.
Well,
and he just goes on a rampage.
Athena says, "Go beat every god up." Well, don't go beat up. Beat up Aphrodite.
Beat up the Trojans, and then when Aphrodite tries to save her favorite Trojan, go after her, and that's what he does.
But no other gods.
Right.
Because he's so smart.
And so this is the stuff that kind of got bogged down. They would just describe the Greeks killing the Trojans in detail, and then just be like, and Diomedes killed Zephyra, who was the son of Zebra, owner of goats in some field in Troy somewhere. All right, that's great. And then it happens 50 times.
We don't need to know this.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway. So Diomedes goes on a rage.
Slices Aphrodite's hand.
He does. Yay! He gets Aphrodite. Book 5 is pretty long. It's pretty long.
Over ambitious. Goes after Apollo.
Yeah. And Apollo's like,
nah, bro.
That was hilarious. I'm not gonna lie.
The best parts in book 6 is where Hektor goes to Troy, back in the city, after he's just been in the battle, and he gets confronted by a lot of women, because all the men are fighting except for one dude named Paris. And our favorite character from last time. And
he's currently sitting at his tower.
Right, Paris is alone in his house, and then not alone. Sorry, he's got Helen with him. So yeah. Anyway,
yes.
And then what was that?
What was that?
And then
that was what Paris was doing when he was in that tower.
Anyway, then Hector talks to his mom. He talks to some other people. He goes to Paris and he sees Helen, and Helen's like, "Yeah, Paris is pretty awful. Not gonna lie. I wish he was better, but also." He's kind of, he's kind of cute. So I guess I'll hang around.
Wait, staying
6.
on the topic of Diomedes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
He
kind of passed that now.
We found this. Yeah. I know. I looked back at my notes and I found something that I thought was interesting when I was reading it. There was a funny quote whenever we decided we remembered it was Athena, right? That was
It was helping Diomedes.
who was
yes.
helping Diomedes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Athena got into the chariot with Diomedes at one point. Okay.
Okay.
And the description that Homer lays out for us is he says, quote, "The chariot groaned beneath both god and hero."
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Like she gets in, and yeah, that chariot's like creaking. It's like whenever my dad gets in a car or something like that. He's not big, but it's like, a man getting in a car. I mean, it shakes the car. But even little Athena getting in the car. Okay, I don't picture Athena as being that big, but she's a god, I guess. So, I don't know. My physics are all off when it comes to the gods.
I don't know. Maybe we're just
Anyway.
too. We have to throw out every presumption that we have about the Jewish God in order the
Well, you
God of the
you mean the
Christian.
one true God?
Yes.
Okay.
Him,
Yeah. Well, we
Yahweh.
clarified.
I had to clarify because I can't just say God. Because,
Well, in this
I
world,
mean,
yes, right.
Yeah.
Anyway, but then we have the best scene of the Iliad so far, which is Hector and his little kid and wife, right?
Oh, yes.
And so he gets his wife. He meets his wife, and she's like, "Please stay." And then he tries to pick up his kid, and his kid gets like scared because his helmet on, and he just laughs and like takes off his helmet and picks up his son, and you're like, "Oh, it's a happy family." But then like it's so obvious that he's never going to come back and see them again.
Yeah, very much so.
He's like, I don't think I'm ever going to see them again, and you're like, "Yep, that's
Too
right."
bad.
So sorry. Then book 7.
We don't really care, bro. You're like, I don't know.
I
You're
mean,
just pretty wild.
he's the best character though. Like he's the hero, right? I like him a lot, honestly. My affection grew for Hector during book 6, which is the
That's
best.
fair.
I don't know about you guys.
I don't know.
That's fair, yeah.
I just think Achilles is funny.
We haven't gotten to like Achilles that much yet, even.
Well,
So.
from the first couple of books
We did, yeah. You're right.
when he was.
I mean, most of
like-
it's just like Achilles is great, and everybody's in comparison to Achilles, but we haven't actually seen him on the battlefield yet. So
That's true because he's still off on his rampage,
yeah.
being mad.
Yep.
Way to go, bro.
His rage.
Be mad.
But then Paris decides to actually come out and fight with Hector, so they both kind of go off into the battle again, and more battling takes place. Does Hector challenge people to a duel yet?
I think that's in
Yeah, it's
end
books
of
of 7.
6 or 7, yeah.
Yeah, 7 happens. So, who won? Okay, so Ajax has to fight Hector.
Yes, and then the
They
gods
draw
basically
lots.
did that to call off the battle and like
Right, but
to,
then
like,
but then
delay the
Ajax
battle.
Hector are fighting, but they are both loved by the gods, and so they just shut down the duel because they don't want
Yeah.
any of them to die.
if I remember correctly, the gods planned the duel like that so that
So that
they can
bloodshed will be
take
ended.
to give them like a break from the war, like
Right.
so that there's kind of like a little break period, like a day or two, so people can rest. And then
The
bury
gods
the
are like
dead.
the coaches of this entire.
Yeah, they're just
grand
orchestrating
sports
it all.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, don't.
Well,
hurt
yeah,
your
it's
coach.
like
Don't hurt your
Friday
coach.
Night SmackDown, like it's all fake, and the gods are doing it. But it's, okay, that's not true. It's more real than that. But
No, it feels like like in book 5, it's like, don't hurt any of the coaches because most of them are on our side except for Aphrodite. Kill her.
yeah.
And then they come back and they're like, actually, all the coaches are bad. Go for any coach as long
So
as
anyway.
this coach is with you.
Well, don't
Tanner,
forget, Diomedes also wounded Ares later after
That's
he
true.
got
Oh,
his
that's right.
powers back.
And then Ares just goes up to Zeus and whines, and Zeus like slaps him down. That was pretty
Yeah.
funny.
That was hilarious. It's like, he said something along the lines of, you puny god who's
Yeah,
like,
right.
you and your mother only love war.
Yeah, which is kind of weird for a guy who's like killing a lot of people so that his like nephew can have some glory, which is weird. Anyway,
on.
book after the duel in book 7, they have like a little rest.
Yeah, they bury the dead.
Bury the dead.
Take a little break.
Take a little break. And then, I love this description in book 8. Now don the yellow robe scattered over all the earth. You know, like when you're an author, you have to come up with a billion ways to say the sun rose.
Mm-hmm.
But I like this way.
Yeah,
so
that's pretty cool.
I point it out. Let's see here.
So then, if I remember correctly, Zeus kind of bans all the other gods from fighting.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
He like balances the
Yeah.
scales, sees that the
Yeah, that's what he
Greeks are
says.
going to win, or is it? The Greeks are
So
going to win.
what he says is, and anyone I perceive against the gods will anyone I perceive against the gods will attempting to go among the Trojans and help them, or among the Danaans, who are the Achaeans or the Greeks, he shall go whipped against his dignity back to Olympus, or I shall take him and dash him down to the murk of Tartarus, far below, where the uttermost depth of the pit lies under the earth.
Yep.
So
So
this is
banning
like-
all the gods or people similar to them from helping.
Yep.
Balances the scales, sees that the Greeks are going to win.
Right,
Sends
because
the
they're gonna-
lightning to them and kills a lot of them, and now the Trojans are going to win.
Well, so okay, it's for me. It's clear that we know the Greeks are going to take Troy eventually, But it seems to me kind of clear that the gods know that too, right?
Yes.
Don't the gods know that eventually
Relatively.
it's going to happen?
Probably.
Well, maybe it was just because they were orchestrating it so that they would.
Yeah, true. But, yeah.
but that did happen like that, where he saw the Greeks were going to win,
Mhm.
kind of killed a lot of them, and then and made it where the Trojans were now
Yeah,
fated to win for a bit.
yeah. And then we have, just the Greeks and the Trojans going back and forth, killing heroes,
The Trojans
And,
driving back.
extended
Greeks.
backstories. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then Athena and Hera try to do some stuff, but then Zeus shuts them down, and they throw a little pity party.
Yeah.
And then at book 8, the armies kind of gather during the night after another break, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, the Trojans were like pushing the Greeks back, right?
Yeah, they
to their
pushed them
ships.
all the way back to their ships.
And then the night came,
Yes.
and the gods like, you can't fight. It's night. You can't fight anymore.
Yeah.
Stop.
So then the Trojans put up a bunch of bonfires,
Right.
more than they needed to show their force.
All right.
I think.
Yeah. Okay. What's what happened?
Yeah, that's what happened. There you go.
Book net
Um,
summaries. This is
I
like
mean-
totally not the book in 30 seconds, honestly.
This is like each book in 45 seconds.
More than that.
We've been talking about the book summary thing for 8 minutes.
Nice.
4 books, a minute and a half.
2.
With introduction, I say. With introduction.
We've been recording for 11 minutes.
Just be quiet now.
Okay.
and
What's your
listen.
next
All right.
question, bro?
So, I mean, we already kind of thought about this, but do you have any other thoughts that weren't already mentioned, or anything else you'd like to, thoughts on the books that we didn't mention while doing the summary?
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw here the biggest evidence for Homer not liking the kleos. Okay, so let's do a review. The kleos is the glory that one tries to claim for oneself through killing another person or by being killed gloriously.
Mhm.
And it seems to me that we have the best evidence against Homer supporting that in book 6, with Hector going into Troy, the city-state, and really seeing the kind of warmth that is located there with him and his wife, and it's kind of taken to extrapolate that to everybody else with the women who are trying to like get news of the battle from him, right, about their husbands and things like that. So it seems to me that Homer grew my affection for Hector in this section, and so I can only assume that Hector has affection for Hector. No, Homer has affection for Hector above all the other people, besides maybe Achilles, which we'll see later.
Which is valid.
Which is valid. Like, Hector is great. He cares about his city. He cares about his people, and he doesn't really want to fight except when defending that. Like the person I so I had a college interview last night, right? And so we were talking about the Iliad for a while. It's actually a lot of fun. But what he said was Paris and Achilles kind of represent the two poles. So Achilles is the pure self-glory, and Paris on the other spectrum is like, none of it matters. I don't even care. I'm just gonna have my babe, and that's it, basically. And then Hector is kind of in the middle of where he's fighting for Kleos, but the Kleos more of a city and in defense of his city. But he's not all the way on the Achilles end of the spectrum to where he's purely doing that, because he clearly cares about his wife and about his family, and also is concerned about Philos too, because he's trying to like whip Paris back into shape and make him go fight instead of just moping in his tower. Not moping, I guess, but enjoying life, shall we say, in his tower, and not fighting, even though it's all his fault this thing happened in the first place. So,
Yeah.
Anything else to say, Tanner, for you? What thoughts
Yeah.
you had?
Yeah. I don't know. All I keep on going back to is we mentioned already that we kind of talked about this earlier today, but we were talking about like the gods being whiny,
Oh, yeah.
and Cooper, would you care to
No,
relate exactly what you said?
Well, I said Athena was acting like a certain bad word that I can't say on the podcast. I didn't say it in real life either, but I made reference to it, and it's true. Like they're acting very petty, extremely petty, and Athena especially. But yeah. Anyway, that's what I said.
She's so funny. I'm not gonna lie. Like that entire the entire
Athena.
sections with the gods.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everything with the gods is like my favorite part of this story right now, just because like
It makes no sense at all.
yeah, and they're also
Absolutely.
like they feel also stupid, right?
Yeah.
It's like, what did you think was gonna happen, you goddess of love, who's deciding I'm gonna go fight in the war?
Yeah, and you get your hand stabbed, and you're like, oh, that's sad.
Excruciating pain, alcohol flowing out of the wound.
Yeah.
Yay.
Well, what's the blood of the gods called?
Ichor.
Aqua.
Ichor alcohol.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's cool, actually. I never put that together. So, okay.
Huh.
That has weird implications for...
That's why people believed for the longest time that like people could live with alcohol alone.
Interesting. Okay.
I did not know that.
I didn't either. There you go. The one new thing I learned today. Great.
Yeah.
Random facts.
So why did Diomedes, or however you say the guy's name,
Yeah, that's right.
get the strength and power and all that? Like, why was he granted that? Or was there not a reason?
Well, I mean, so apparently there's like this rank of like warriors. So you have Achilles at the top on the top dog on the Achaean side, and then below him is Ajax, and then below him is Diomedes. And so with Achilles out of the battle, Diomedes is one of the leading warriors. And so if Athena wants to get back at the Trojans, she just got to give strength to one of those top people. And so she chose Diomedes. And, well,
He
yeah,
killed
he
a lot of
responded
guys.
well
Yeah.
to the treatment.
Until he got greedy, and he could have killed so many more.
Yeah.
Probably could have won not one, but
No,
killed
I mean,
a ton
the
of
whole story of the Iliad is just, if you did this right, like, it's,
Yeah.
you could just...
was given strength, told not to fight any of the gods except what, Aphrodite?
Yeah.
And if he did that, he's basically unstoppable.
Yeah.
And he's like, Apollo, I'm coming for you.
I see you, bro. I'm coming after you.
Yeah. Really smart.
Yeah.
I love the. I think we already talked about this. Apollo coming back and whining to.
Ares, you mean?
Ares, yeah.
Was it Ares?
It's Ares.
Yeah, because he got stabbed later after Diomedes got his power back.
Oh, that's right,
from
that's right,
Athena,
that's
and then
right.
Athena joined him in the battle. Oh, we could also determine like if they were gods or humans. Like, you know, he could tell the difference between gods and humans on the battlefield.
Yeah. I really need to have my chart sitting next to me whenever I'm reading this.
Sorry, there's one other thing I want to talk about.
Go ahead.
This was in regards to Diomedes fighting people. All of a sudden, he comes upon this person, and they just like start exchanging backstories. And then the other guy is like, "Yeah, like I had this dude. My dad did this." And then Diomedes is like, "No way, my dad did that too. That's cool." And they
Forgot
just like
about that.
stop fighting, and they exchange armor or something like that. But then Diomedes is like, "Well, you're gonna die anyway, and I'll get your armor back, my armor back, so it's okay." But the whole idea of, you know, and we'll talk about this more with the Odyssey, I think. But for the Greeks, the hospitality was a big thing, and going back several generations as well. And so realizing that your ancestors have a thing in common was really big for them. And so even though Diomedes was going on a rampage, he took time to acknowledge that and didn't kill the guy. So
So you can pause this part, but the Diomedes and Glaucus is his name, right?
yeah, Glaucus, yeah.
And they didn't they agree to not kill each other? That they would tell the rest of their troops that they wouldn't harm each other.
Yes.
Wasn't that part of that? And they were like, oh, since we have this connection, it was like his grandfather or something. Since we have
here it
this
is.
connection, then we won't kill each other. Whoever people you kill and whatever people I kill, fine, but we won't kill each other.
By the way, for the listeners, Miss Emily just said that Diomedes and Glaucus basically kind of agreed with their whole like relationship thing with their grandfather or whatever it was, that they wouldn't kill each other, but they didn't care what like each person did to the other people. So like with Diomedes killing Trojans, Glaucus didn't care as long as he didn't kill him because they had some like relationship thing or whatever, something like that, like something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good part. And the book, they were reading the analysis book, Heroes of the City of Man, kind of goes on an extended paragraph about how if Paris had not breached the rules of hospitality, then we wouldn't have this war in the first place. If everybody had honored the bonds shared by the giving of gifts and friendship and hospitality, then we wouldn't have this bloodshed and stuff like that. But we do. So.
Of course, they were greedy and wanted more.
Yep. Kleos does weird things to men.
Yeah.
That's all you had?
All because Aphrodite wanted an apple.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. I had more questions, but we already kind of answered like all of them. I had stuff about what Hektor was fighting for, what Achilles was fighting for, but you answered that. I guess one thing is, in the book, do you think Homer takes a side?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. I mean, it comes down to like Shakespeare too, because Shakespeare often doesn't take sides, seemingly. And he leaves textual basis for both. And I think that really right now it's clear that he's supporting Hektor. And we'll see later on when Patroclus dies and when Achilles goes on his final rampage to ultimately win his Kleos, what happens. But I think for now, I think Homer is squarely taking a side against the warrior ethic. I mean, I think about Agamemnon, Menelaus. They're all not great. And then Achilles is throwing a pity party, which even though he was wronged, was overreacting. So I think that right now he's against it. He's taking a side against it. So I don't know about you, Tanner. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think he's sitting on the sidelines right now. Like, I think he's cheering Hektor on for the most part, or he's urging us to cheer Hektor on right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that we can be devastated. No,
Unlike Cooper,
Sure.
I haven't read this mostly through. Like, the entire... Like,
Oh, the whole story.
yeah, the
Gotcha.
whole story.
Gotcha.
Like, I haven't actually, like...
You don't know. Yeah.
I don't...
The big plot
I'm
points.
reading blind.
Yeah.
So.
Mhm.
So,
I'm
by the
good.
way, I need to give Bryson's thoughts on
Oh,
this because
okay, go ahead.
we were texting about it. So he says,
Ooh.
Achilles sucks, is what he said. So he's definitely against Achilles. We'll see what happens throughout the book. Then he says, Paris is not just a baby, but also a baby wimp.
Valid.
Agamemnon has no idea how to lead an army. And then I slap my knee because I think jokes are funny, which is what Achilles does very often. He'll slap his knees.
Mhm.
And in fact, at the very end, when Hector is dying, he tries to get Achilles to swear by his knees that he will take his body back to his father, which is pretty funny. he's like literally, he's like, I beg you, by your father, by your mother, by your knees, like take my body back to my father. I'm just like, oh. And anyway,
That's great.
so anyway, those are Bryson's thoughts.
Yeah. All right, and then I just have one more question. Do you like it so far? And based on what you've read so far, do you think you'll like reading the rest of it?
I mean, I think it's obviously great. Like we talked about the description of the sunrise, which is just beautiful. The scene between Hector and his wife is actually like some pretty emotional, raw stuff that works really well even today. Like works really well. And I mean, the descriptions of the battles when he's not going on about extended genealogies and things like that are, I mean, they're wildly gory, but still written well. And I think we're seeing the contrast of the ideas of the ethics between Achilles' ethic, between Agamemnon's leadership, between Diomedes' rage, between Hector's complex relationship, and between Paris and everything like that. So it's a definitely a masterpiece in terms of character study and motives and themes and even writing. So yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I enjoy studying it like we are now.
Yeah.
I don't think that... I don't know. I can't say for this for sure, but maybe by the end of this, I'll want to pick it up again at some other point in my life to study it again.
I think that I'll read scenes again. Like I will definitely return to that Hector and his wife scene, and certain moments in the battle, perhaps. But
I think there's a lot I can learn from it for writing, and I
Yeah.
think that there's a lot that like is interesting about it, like studying the Greek culture back then.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This is not going to be one of my, oh my gosh, this is my yearly read of the Iliad.
yeah,
It's going on the bookshelf next to The Lord of the Rings, and
Yeah.
it's going to get picked up every year, every
yeah,
summer.
the Odyssey might be more like that. I don't know. We'll see.
Possibly.
We'll see.
I hope.
Yeah. I think
don't know.
it's
How about this?
interesting.
Wait, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm never going to buy a leather-bound Iliad, most likely.
Okay. Tanner has
Fair.
like 3 leather-bound Lord of the Rings. So.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. It's better than what I was expecting.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'd read it again. It's an interesting story. Good to read once. I think that's about it for now. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know anything else about the story besides what you've told me.
Yeah.
So
This is
Yeah.
coming from not writer Isaiah, so there's that.
Well, I mean, yeah.
fair.
But yeah. Okay.
Nothing against him.
No.
Not at all.
I mean, he's doing coding stuff, and Iliad doesn't have anything about coding. So.
Exactly. Or video games.
We
Oh,
all
video
know
game.
that Isaiah is going to be so
I mean,
rich compared to us.
imagine in Isaiah's video game he designs, like, you're fighting in the Trojan War, and you kill somebody, and then the gameplay pauses. You can read about this guy's backstory of how his dad owned some goats
I
and a
would hate
farm
that.
over there, and how he gave gifts to a certain person, and then the gameplay resumes, kill another person, and then it pauses, and
Nah.
yeah.
I would not play
Oh,
that. Nah.
Choose to get this player your armor.
It's like, do you choose to focus more on kleos or more on philos? The
Bro,
Council of
that's
the
too much
Gods seems to
thinking
be a
for
lot
my
of fun, though.
brain.
That would be
The
fun.
Olymp- the Olymp-
In
Olympus.
gameplay, it like just suddenly pauses.
Yeah, as Zeus, you can like shut down Athena and then like watch her get mad.
Returning to the gods
Meanwhile, in Olympus,
on Mount Olympus.
you can just imagine like some
he stabbed
the narrator who does like the Clone Wars openers, just narrating the Iliad. And it'd be
Yes.
awesome.
That would be amazing.
Rage on Troy. Achilles rages against Agamemnon, who has dishonored him. while the Trojans, led by Hector, push them back to the ships. Meanwhile, in Olympus, Hera and Athena form an alliance to help the Achaeans against the Trojans, while Aphrodite continues to protect her favorite boy, Paris. I would watch that. So.
Totally watch Clone Wars
I
a
think
lot.
that your reenactment was better than whatever that would have been.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Maybe so. All right, well, is that donor shoutouts time now?
I mean, again, yeah. We're at 25 minutes.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Okay, well, donor shoutouts. You know what's funny, guys, is my mom decided that she wants to be a patron now. So that's new. We have a new patron again.
Another one.
My mom. And she was wondering, like, what name to put down on Patreon. And I was just like, we'll just read your name. So whatever creative name you'll put down, it's not going to happen. I'm sorry. So anyway, she was willing to put like Cobb's Classical Academy or something like that.
What?
And we were like, you're Miss Jenny. So, okay. Donor shoutouts. I'll say the name and you give them a voiceover from Clone Wars guy shout out. Okay. So we have Nana. Van Pappy and Wayla.
Van Pappy and Wayla.
Isaiah's grandparents.
Isaiah's grandparents.
Mike and Laura.
Mike and Laura.
Anna.
Emily.
Keenan. Howdy.
Howdy.
And my mother, Miss Jenny.
Miss Jenny.
There we go. Well, hope you guys have an awesome Clone Wars guy narrated rest of the day. And I hope you enjoyed Wing Feather Saga that came out last week. And we'll see you next time with Bryson. Make sure you subscribe to us on Instagram. Leave us a 5-star rating and review. Check out our website and subscribe to our newsletter. All that's in the description below. Support us, as he's nodding his head. Patreon.com/bookinit.
Support us so that Miss Emily can have a microphone.
That's right. Hey, it should be like our goal. Like if we get
that should be a goal.
If we get like $60 a month on Patreon or something like that, we buy Miss Emily a microphone.
We should.
That'd be funny. Until then,
keep on booking.